All right, welcome everybody. My name is Kelly Vincent. This is Tina Malsom sitting next to me, and we're happy you came on. We're going to do a high-level training on prospecting and putting people in your pipeline. This is your first webinar or perhaps your 20th, it's no matter. This is for you, and we recommend that you maybe take some notes because we're going to say a lot. We might go a little fast, but we'll slow it down enough where people will understand. But we're going to tell you some of the exact things that we do to get results in growing your business with Euphoria.
So this is also the Monday night update team call. So I do want to let you guys know some updates, which is that we were told that the Eric Worre contest to go spend 2 nights and 3 days and 2 nights at Eric Worre's house. The contest has ended as of last night, and the winner should be announced by, they said they would have the final list done by Friday. The top 25 paid in the company will be listed Friday is what we were told. That's so exciting. And to all the people that upranked, I mean, I see people on this call right now that upranked this last month, March. I think it was 140 people on the team that actually moved up in rank. So congratulations, everybody.
Amazing.
That is so exciting.
That's
so
awesome.
Be sure to go onto the team pages and congratulate all the people that have worked their butt off in March to earn that next rank, because total rock stars, everybody. I mean, the timing of this company, of this product, of this opportunity couldn't be better. I'm just so proud of all the people that are totally going for it.
Yeah. So we're on the first day of the month. So setting up the rest of the month, it's perfect timing. And, imagine you're just kind of blocking off 4 weeks till the end of the month, and that you have specific goals that you're going to meet each and every week. And when I said the word pipeline, since we're at the first day of the month, your job for the rest of the month is to be filling that pipeline with new prospects. So by the end of the month, the 3rd and 4th week of the month, you'll be able to have people that got the information, went on the webinars, you followed up with them a couple times, and now it's time to close them at the end of the month if they have not already been closed, which of course is, I think, why a lot of people ranked up. It's so awesome to hear how many people are ranking up so quickly in Euphoria. That means there's a lot of good success stories out there to be told. So we're going to give some exact details of what to say, what to do. We already know you're motivated or you wouldn't be on here. So let's go into just some things that people want to know exactly what you do.
So, well, I was going to say a very simple way to talk about our system. And the system in itself is so simple. Step 1 is to create curiosity. Now, when you're creating curiosity, that does not mean that you're reading a book to people. You're not vomiting about them, every detail about Euphoria. In fact, a lot of times when I'm creating curiosity, I don't even say the word Euphoria. I don't even say the word, what it is that we do, the company we're in. I don't necessarily need somebody to know that to create curiosity. Creating curiosity really is just a sentence or two, right? A sentence or two, and we're going to talk about some specific sentences you can say. Step 2 in our simple process is to plug them in. And when I say plug them in, I mean plug them into a Facebook page, plug them into a testimony page, plug them into a 3-way chat with your business partners, plug them into a webinar, plug them into a 3-minute video. Then step 3 is answer all their questions. And people say objections. Yes, it's answering objections, but to me, objections are just questions. I mean, if people aren't asking questions, I always feel like the sale is done and I did a terrible job, because if they're not asking questions, they're not curious. So when you think of, oh gosh, what are they going to ask? What are the questions? Don't be scared of the questions. You should be excited that they're asking questions. Okay. So step 3, answer all their questions, either with your business partners on a 3-way call, or by inviting them to a webinar, or sending more videos. It really is a simple system. You don't need to be the library. You need to be the librarian, which points people to all the information that they need. In fact, from the minute you open your mouth, and this is very important for step 1 prospecting, which we're going to go through today. The minute you open your mouth, you are training that person how to do this business. The first sentence out of your mouth. So if you relay a whole novel full of information, that person is going, oh my gosh, I need to know a whole novel full of information to do this business. And I don't have time for that. And I don't want to do that. Right? So just remember that as you're prospecting people, the less you say, the better. A sentence or two, create curiosity, and that's all you need to have a very successful intro.
Yeah, the other thing you could do is create rapport. I'm a serial profiler, meaning when I meet somebody, or I meet them on Facebook, any social media platform, I am looking immediately on anything that I can use that I have in common with them, that I could build instant rapport. I'll give you some examples. If I see somebody on Facebook that has anything military, guns, I was in the military, so I'm like, great. They're probably in the military. I can ask them, oh, what branch of the military were you in? Oh, I was in the Marines. I was this. Instant rapport, right? If I see a football team, wow, they like the 49ers. I like the Chiefs, but we both like football. Great. Let's instant rapport. Or what they're wearing. Oh, for women, what they're wearing, guys pretty much miss this all the way. But for women, oh, you have this kind of bag or purse that's $50,000, and we would never guess that. But all women know what other women have, and their shoes with the red bottom, whatever that's called. But you're building.
Keep going.
I don't know what that's called.
You're doing good.
I know that's important to you, so not to me. Guys, it's oblivious.
Okay, but what he's talking about is complementing something in common. You could do it online. You could do it in person. When I'm standing in line at Starbucks, at the grocery store, at the shopping mall, it doesn't even matter what line I'm standing in. I always talk to the person either in front or in back of me. Usually it's a woman, and I start by saying, wow, that's a great top, or ooh, cute earrings, or ooh, did you get those somewhere local? Or, you create a rapport. It has nothing to do with business. Be genuine. If the shirt is hideous, don't say nice shirt. Like, it has to be a genuine compliment. But really, that's all it is you're just creating a little bit of rapport with somebody and that building trust. And that's what it is. People like doing business with people they know and they trust. And you're not going to walk up to somebody and go, hey, have you heard of DNA customized supplements? And you should have them. Here it is, right? You got to create the rapport. That is the first part of prospecting.
Yeah. So after the rapport, you're not spending an hour conversation about everything I just mentioned. It's a quick, hey, we got something in common. They're interesting enough to you, and you're interesting enough to them to then carry on another conversation, which leads into, and this, I think this is where it steps up a lot of people, is they're searching for the exact right thing to say in the moment, and everybody's different. You're probably not going to say it perfectly the first time, but finding a opening to bring up what we have to offer, and it works best in a question like, hey, are you concerned about your health? It looks like you work out, you have a gym bag, or how important is your health to you on a scale of 1 to 10? And you're getting an answer. Would it be okay if I shared something with you that I just found out?
And in the grocery store, it's really easy because you could just look in their cart. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've prospected in the vitamin aisle because they're standing there, they're staring at it. All you need to say is, I know it's confusing, huh? Have you ever thought that maybe there was a better way than just standing here trying to pick out what your body needs? I recently just had my DNA tested. They tell me exactly what I need based on my own body. 1 in 400 million people. I'll never have to do this again. That's an easy thing to relate to somebody. It's not weird. And especially if you've created rapport already by a compliment or, something, or they have cute kids or whatever it is, it doesn't take a lot, but that is one of the hardest. And it's strange for some people because some people are really just great at talking to people and other people really struggle with it. So if this is something you struggle with, I would suggest go out and create a conversation with 2 or 3 people a day that has nothing to do with what we do. I'm telling you, within a week or two, you will become so comfortable talking to people. You know, a lot of people in the industry call it the 3-foot rule. If somebody is within 3 feet of you, you should find a way to talk to them. You know, there's actually a great book. Todd Falcone wrote The Little Black Book of Scripts. It's all about the 3-foot rule, how to talk to somebody standing within 3 feet of you, how to talk to an insurance agent, how to talk to a realtor with you see their realtor sign, how to go up to a board at Starbucks, and you know how they have all their businesses tagged to it? Take one of all of them, and how to contact all those people. You know, there are books of scripts you can get. But really, like Kelly said, it all boils down to just creating a little bit of rapport, finding that opening where they might need what you have. And the only way to do that really is to ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more they're going to start opening up and telling you where the cracks are, you know?
So let's back up, because we talked about pipeline, and it may not be appropriate on the very first time that you talk to somebody that you start, hey, by the way, have you heard about DNA customized nutritional and how much you care about your body? And you're really running the questions at somebody. They might be going, whoa. You know, it might be appropriate the first time, especially if you're in a group setting in a weekly meeting, like a meetup or something, that you just get to know them, right? You don't say anything about the business, but in the meantime, you're doing other things to fill your pipeline, right? Like you're inviting people to a webinar that one of the leaders is having during the week, that you're sending out the rapid funnel using that system, texting people right from your prospects, that you're going to the meetups or BNI style meetings, and you're introducing yourself to complete strangers you don't know, and in conversations at work or whatever it is, or the gym. But all these things is you're filling your pipeline, and then you are tracking, right? You can measure what's happening because you're taking their names and you're writing down. I take little notes and say, okay, I didn't say anything about the business, but now he knows who I am, and we both like riding motorcycles. Can't wait to talk to this guy again. And then at that time, it may be appropriate. So you got to discern at which time is appropriate, because you don't want to slap people right up the face with a ton of information. They're going to go, okay, buddy, you're here to sell me something, and I'm over it.
Well, plus you also want to put yourself in the right places to meet the right people. I'm not saying every time I go to the grocery store, the right people are, everybody around me. That's not the case. But if I go to a specialty store or a store where there's a supplement aisle, and if I'm in between errands or on my way to do something and I have a half hour, 45 minutes in between, I'll just go hang out at the supplement store. And people, start up a conversation, start talking to somebody. If we start getting on the topic of, what are they looking for? I'll ask them, have you used this brand? Is it good? Would you consider it the highest quality? If they ask why I'm asking, I say, well, I just got a supplement that is customized to my own DNA. And just out of sheer curiosity, I was wondering what it would cost if I came here and tried to figure it all out myself. Of course, we have the highest quality supplements. So I wanted to know what the highest quality ones are, so it's a fair comparison. Like, how many times could you do that every day? Could you do that every day and find somebody to talk to every day? Probably. There's how many grocery stores in our area? Dozens, and Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's, and all the supplement stores, and Target. Like, pretty much anywhere you go, you just put yourself in a position to talk to people because your surroundings are giving you the avenue to bring it up. We went to a chiropractic show over the weekend. We weren't invited, really. We didn't have a booth or anything, but you know what? If there's a group of 100 chiropractors that are going to be in one room for 3 days, we need to find a way to get into that room, right? So we asked our chiropractor if he was going. He said, come, just hang out. We said, do we need a badge? Nope, just come. So we just walked right in the door, started talking to people. Not only were we talking to the other chiropractors, but we were also talking to the other vendors. And they said, what are you doing here? We said, well, we work with chiropractors, so we thought we'd come hang out and, meet some new ones or see if we could bring some value to this event. And they were like, what do you think they asked us? What do you do with chiropractors? So, putting yourself in the best opportune places. The week before that, we went to visit my son in San Luis Obispo. Well, we found out we were going to come home on Sunday, but we found out that there was a big, like a health expo, only 4 exits from where we were on the freeway. So of course we went. We talked to all the vendors. And when they said, oh, are you guys having a great time? Did you come here looking for something specific? No, we just like to know who the competition is. We just like to know what other people are doing. Just creating a little bit of curiosity, because the number one thing you want people to ask you is, what do you do, or how do you do that? And we learned a great 2-sentence trick from a CD we listened on our way driving. 2 sentences. Most people and some people. So when you're building rapport and talking to somebody, you can bring up a sentence that will include whoever you're talking about, because if you built rapport, you know a little bit about them. So most people are at this expo because they're looking for better health. Some people have found that they could just take a DNA test and have someone else figure out what their body needs for them. Pretty easy, yeah? Let's do another one. At the chiropractic convention, most people stop seeing their chiropractor when their pain goes away. Some chiropractors have found a way to keep the money coming in even after the patients leave.
Perfect.
Right? You got some more? Let's go some more.
Although a fitness trainer is, most fitness trainers have a customized work program. And it's hard for a lot of people, and they usually quit. Some fitness trainers have figured out how to keep people coming back and interested in their program by introducing them to a nutritional supplement that's customized to their DNA. And fitness trainers listen up when you say that, because they know that to keep their clients coming back is one of the hardest things, because believe it or not, just like network marketing, people give up way too soon, and then they move on to the next thing and they never see them again.
So I would say that for this week, I would say 4 times a day, find a way to use the statement, most people and some people. I mean, we were listening to a gentleman who has talks to network marketers, and he was talking about a car program. And he was saying some people would love to have a new car because their beat up Chevy Chevelle from 1970 isn't their ideal car they'd like to be driving. Some people have found a way to get somebody else to make their car payments for them. Now, is that brilliant? That is brilliant, right?
How do they do that?
Most people go to work for 40 hours a week for 40 years to get 40% of their income for the rest of their life, which may only be 4 years more after they retire. Some people have figured out a way to get independent, time freedom, and financial freedom for the rest of their lives by working part-time on a side hustle. Right? So everything, I want you guys to write out 10 sentences today. Most people and some people. And then go use them. It's not a hard thing to say. It actually becomes really fun. You kind of get the look on their face, because the minute you say some people learned how to do this, some people, then they go, well, how did they do that? Right? If they are part of the most people, right? So if you can get to know somebody enough to put them in a category of most people, and then talk about some people, which is obviously you have figured it out. If they are the right prospect, they're going to say, tell me more about that. Well, how do some people figure out? How did some people do that? How can I do that is what they're really saying.
I would love to find out about that.
Right? So great homework for tonight, you guys. And then I would love for next Monday, let's do another call, maybe even 10 minutes before the team update call, and see what you all came up with. Because I think that you guys will crush it if you can learn that one prospecting tool. And the more prospects you have in your pipeline, the more sales you're going to get, the more income you're going to get. So it is really, truly so important to fill the pipeline. If you're not talking to 3 to 5 people a day and putting them in your pipeline, you may not get where you want to go as fast as you want. That's what we teach our team is 3 to 5 a day will get you what you want in time, right? And think about this too. Not everybody's going to say yes, but if you have 3 people in your pipeline and 2 say no, you're devastated, right? We've been there before. You're like, this sucks. I'm devastated. If you have 48 people in your pipeline and 2 say no, are you devastated? Or are you like, next, whatever. It's no big deal. So when we talk about prospecting and filling your pipeline, all you're doing is creating enough curiosity to put that person into a funnel where they want more information. That's it. That is step 1 of our system, filling the pipeline and getting outside your comfort zone to prospect in maybe a way that might be a little uncomfortable at first, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to love it. It's going to go really well.
All right, so I'm going to move on a little bit just to, after you do that, after you fill your pipeline, the one thing that you want to make sure and do is follow up and honor whatever you told them. So if you said you're in line somewhere, let me get your number, I'll send you the information as soon as I get a minute, and you don't do it, and if you do that 3 days later, guess what? They're gone, right? People want to know that they can count on you, and you're showing that and teaching that immediately when you show up by giving them whatever they requested, especially if you're prospecting them. You want to get them the information as quickly and as fast as possible, and then always ask if there's anything other information that would help them make their decision. Or would it be okay if you came onto a webinar where you could ask questions? You're constantly doing that, but you don't want to miss not honoring what you told them from the very beginning. So note-taking is very good when you have your prospects, so that you know that you said by Monday, I'm going to get them this, or I'm going to invite them here. And if you told them Friday that you're going to invite them for a webinar on Tuesday, if the whole weekend's gone by, and guess what? They're probably completely forgot about that you invited them to the webinar. It's not that they don't want to attend, but let's face it, people are busy. They got jobs, kids, sports, all kinds of stuff happened the duration of that weekend. So when the next week, it is pertinent that you text them again the morning of, and even a few hours before the webinar happens, and says, hey, just excited to see you on the webinar tonight. Remember, you can ask questions at the end, or remember to pay attention to this. Excited to talk to you about it afterwards. So that follow-up is so necessary, given people are so wrapped up in their lives and they're and busy with so many things. They're going to forget. They're going to forget, and they will respect the fact that you're going to keep up with them, and they're going to know right from the get-go, wow, this person has their stuff together. If I'm going to do the business, I definitely want to be sponsored by this person. They got their act together.
So let's talk about a really easy system called ATM, a really, really easy way to do that step number 2, right? Step 1, create the curiosity, get their information, right? Once you have their information, step 2, it's called ATM. The A stands for add them. Add them to a Facebook page. Add them to a text with your business partners. Add them to a website. If your team has a website that you use. Let's go for the customers, for example, okay? A customer, you're talking to somebody in the vitamin aisle, you say, yeah, most people stand here and think blind nutrition, sucks, and some people have figured out a way how to get rid of blind nutrition by doing a DNA test and figuring out exactly what their body needs. Okay, you said that. You said, yeah, I'd love to send you some information about it. You got their phone number. Let's say their email address, okay? The next thing I would do is text them and say, hey, we have a great Facebook group with testimonies about our product. Would you be okay if I Facebook friended you? Most people say fine. Facebook friend them. Now you have their Facebook page, their email, their text, right? A stands for add. Add them to a group. Add them to the Experiencing Euphoria Facebook group, okay? T, T stands for tag them. Find a post related to something you just talked to them about and tag them in it. For example, let's say you were looking at the CoQ10, okay, in the supplement aisle, and you mentioned, yeah, even this, one ingredient CoQ10 is so confusing if you're trying to figure it out on your own, because look, there's 2 brands. There's ubiquinol, there's ubiquinone. Which one do you need? She's going to say, I have no idea. I didn't know either until I took my DNA test. Now I found out my body needs ubiquinol. But guess what? I was buying ubiquinone. What a waste of money, right? Building rapport. So let's say that was the conversation we had. When I put them in the Facebook Experiencing Euphoria Facebook page, I tag them in a post that talks about ubiquinol or ubiquinone, or I tag them on one of the Dr. Jen Myers videos on CoQ10, or I tag them on somebody who has a testimony about their energy levels being raised because they're taking the right CoQ10 for their body. Tag them. A, add them to the group. T, tag them. M, message them. After you tag them, wait 5-6 hours, let them poke around a little bit, because when I get tagged in a Facebook post, now don't tag people that don't know you're tagging them. Always ask permission. Once they're tagged, once I'm tagged in something, I always end up poking around, looking at other stuff, wait a few hours, and then message them. Hey, that tag that I had you on about CoQ10, wasn't that interesting? What did you like best about it? Then don't say anything. Wait for them to give you the answer, right? Add them, tag them, message them, and that's how you follow up with customers. It is that simple.
We have a page that...
Experiencing Euphoria.
All right.
It's a great page. Lots of testimonies in there. And now that the product's been out 3-4 months, tons of testimonies are coming in almost every day. So, I mean, that is a great, easy system. I don't think there's a single person on here who couldn't create curiosity with somebody, get their information, add them, tag them on a post, and message them what they liked about it. The minute they start talking about what they liked about it, ask them more questions. Well, does this seem like a product that you might be interested in? Have you ever thought about there might be a better way than what you're doing right now? Ask. The more questions you ask, the better off you're going to be. Once you keep asking them the questions, inevitably there's going to come a time where they might ask you a question. You might know the answer, you might not know the answer. Either way, give them a little bit and then say, what would be great is if you would jump on this webinar with me. Sunday night with Ruth, Monday night with Sherry Denny, Tuesday night with us, Thursday night with Sean, or Wednesday night with Sean, Thursday night with John Malott. There's one almost every night of the week. Get them on a webinar with whatever leader you think they might be relatable to. Get them on a webinar and just invite them. Just easily say, you know what? The answer to that is, give them the simple and then say, but you know what? There's actually a lot more to it. Why don't you jump on this webinar with me and my business partners? It's live. They're going to talk for about 15-20 minutes about the product. They're going to open up the lines, answer everybody's questions. That'd be a really great place for you to plug in with us or stay connected or get your questions answered. That's step 3. Get them more information based on what they you're walking them through this process that goes from tiny to just a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger. The problem a lot of people have is they go from this to the close, or they try to get them to sign up in 10 minutes. That's not going to happen. Walk them through the process. It won't take very long if you do it correctly, right? And then the close, well, let us do that for you. We're pretty good at it by now. And that's what we do on our webinars. We try to give people enough information, answer enough questions to get them to a point where they're ready. So we say, if you're ready to get started right away, get back to the person that had shared this with you. Let us help you do the work. I mean, that's what we're here for.
All right, so let's go real quick because it's the beginning of the month. Let's set up the month. Take a look at what your goal is by the end of this month and what rank you want to be at and how many people that's going to take to get there. So let's say right now you're at a mover and you want to be a shaker. Well, a shaker is 2,500 in volume in your first 3 levels, and it's about 25 people all having a subscription. So 25 people, 2,500 in volume, And if you already have 9 people, let's just do the math. You're going to need you and your team to get about 15 people by the end of the month. Let's break that down. 15 people. That's about 4 people a week every week. So if you're on week 2 and you have 0 people in the business, well, it's time to get your team and do a rally call. And I'm talking in week 2, not week 4, week 2, to get them all together to see what's going on so you could start filling that pipeline by the end of the week. So at least by week 3, you can close a lot of those people. And then 4, some of the straggling people that, wanted that much more information. So you meet your goal by the end of the month. But what not to do is just set a goal. I need to get 15 people and just pray that it happens. And I want to be this rank. That's just a good idea. The actual goal setting is one that has measurable results broken down into each week so that you can know where you're at all times. And if you got to catch up on week 2 and 3 with filling that pipeline with prospects, then you know how many you got to talk to. So it's never going to be the exact. So if you need 15 people, I promise you, unless you hit the lottery all the time, you're not going to find 15 people who are going to be coming on board exactly. It'll probably be more like you talk to 30 to 45 people and maybe 15 people between you and your team by the end of the month to meet that goal. And that step is, we repeat that every month so you can always measure where you're at and you have a blueprint and know what to do each week, even each day. Break it down and fill in all the days with the webinars, all the trainings, and make sure you plug your team in so you're all working that wheel the entire month so you meet that goal. Otherwise, goal setting could be considered just a good idea, which really nothing ever gets done. And then you wonder why, nothing's happening, right? So be accountable for your goals and map it out on a calendar, a piece of paper, and put it somewhere where you're going to see it all the time, and write down specific people on your team, even what they're going to contribute as well. So you have a good gauge on meeting that goal each and every month, because it is possible to rank up every month, provided this system gets duplicated throughout your team.
So, we saw so much craziness and action yesterday. It was the last day of the month. It was so insane.
My voice is gone.
But think about this. What if you treated every day for the next 30 days like it was the last day of the month? What if you woke up and thought, it's the last day of the month, I got to hit my goal, I got to hit my rank, it's time, and you just action, action, action. Where do you think your business would be in 30 days from now? You will be shocked by how fast. And if you use the system, create curiosity, ATM, right? I see Sean Zimmer changed it to ATF, which stands for follow up instead of message them. Fine. Whichever way you need to go through it in your head, right? But stick to the system. Get as many people on as many webinars as possible. I promise you the webinars are converting people. When somebody jumps on a webinar, here's how I think about it. I used to do home parties. They are painful. But I learned this from my mentor early on. She said, if somebody shows up at your house, they are ready to sign up. Because people are not going to leave their house, drive a half an hour in here in San Francisco. It's an hour and a half to go 4 miles in traffic just to come to somebody's house because they're like super excited to sit through an hour and a half meeting. That's not why they came. If they show up, they are already interested enough to get involved. But what happens is you get so excited when somebody shows up at one of your home parties, you talk for 2 hours and you talk them right out of it. You talk them into it in about 10 minutes and then you talk them right out of it. People know if they're going to join your business within minutes. Within minutes, it's either a yes or a no. After that, it's all just building the rapport until they're comfortable enough to make that decision. And that's it. So don't talk too much. Don't do too much. And the same thing with a webinar. If a guest of yours shows up on a webinar, we keep it short and sweet to the point. We try to close it right then. If they came on the webinar, they are interested. The only reason they haven't signed up yet is because they have more questions. Let them ask their questions. Again, don't let the objections and the questions scare you. That's the best part. That's when you know they're interested. I like to equate it to shoe shopping, ladies. The men might not get it. So when I go shoe shopping, if I were to walk in the door and the salesman walks up and he goes, oh, I have the perfect shoes for you, and walks away and brings back 3 boxes, what are the chances that anything in those 3 boxes is exactly what I'm looking for? Like slim to none, right? What if instead I walked in the shoe store, the salesman walked up and said, what size are you? And then brought out 3 boxes. Are the chances slightly better that the perfect shoe that I'm looking for is in that box? Well, at least it'll be the right size. We're in the ballpark, right? What if he walked up to me and he says, well, what size are you and what color are you looking for? I give him my size. I tell him I'm looking for pink shoes. He comes back with 3 boxes. Now, are the chances that what I want in those 3 boxes better because he asked me 2 simple questions? Yeah, it's getting better and better each time. What if he said, what size are you and what color are you looking for and what style are you looking for? I mean, the first time he could have brought out 3 tennis shoes. I'm not going to wear that. The second time, when he asks me what I'm looking for pumps. He brings out pumps. The more questions you ask, the closer you get to giving them exactly what they're looking for or what they want, even if they don't know yet that they're looking for it or want it. Have you ever been shoe shopping and you said, I'm not buying shoes, I'm just browsing, and then you bought 5 pairs? Yes, because all women do that. Even if they're not looking for it and don't know they want it, a good salesperson, and let's not kid ourselves, as much as this is really just sharing information, it is still sales. There is a point transaction where you are letting the person buy something they want from you that is sales, right? Let the salesman ask you all the questions in advance. If every time you answered one question, he ran off to the back, that would make his job impossible, right? And that's going to make your job impossible if you ask one question. Oh, I see you're at the vitamin store. Are you looking for vitamins? And they say yes. And you go, great, here's a piece of paper. You got to sign up. Here's my supplements. They're DNA customized. Don't do that. You got to walk them through the path. The more questions you ask, the closer they come towards knowing and buying exactly what we have, which everybody should want anyway, because it's amazing. So I think that's our training that we have for you guys today. I hope you got some value out of that.
Yeah, I would keep that calendar first of the month. And then the last thing I'll say is we have approximately 3 months before the event in Las Vegas. I would also make a goal of how many people on your team you're going to bring to that event. And I would plan for it right now, not a month before, not a week before, because, of course, that's when the prices of tickets for flights is higher and hotel rates are higher. So start planning now and inviting your team to participate with you, even if it's getting a caravan and you're driving there, or somebody in your team has a good price on tickets, so you could be prepared and have a large amount of people from your team show up at that event. And then think about, until next time, at what rank do you want to show up at the event in Las Vegas, the Rumble event? What rank do you want to be? You have 30 days from this day till the last weekend in June to take some massive action to get to a position where you could show up there with pride and accomplish and get some big results before getting there.
Lexi just said she's offering up her couch for cheap. So now no excuses that you can't afford a place to stay. Thank you, Lexi. That's awesome. I'm going to actually ask you guys to do one thing tonight. I think everybody on this call needs to start their list of most people, some people. Write a list of 10 things. You can even start with the some people part, the benefit of what we have, okay? Start with the benefit, and you can even work backwards to the most people, right? But how about today and tomorrow, either today or tomorrow on Facebook, put a statement on your personal Facebook page or your business Facebook page, one of the best, pick Pick 10, do 10 and pick the best one and put it on your Facebook page and just watch how people react. Because that would be really fun for us to watch. So thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we will see you on this call next week.